Hello viewers, Tim Poole here, editor of Gambling Insider, and we're here for the latest episode of the GI Huddle. We're at Dabbers Bingo, and we're with Miles Barron, Chief Executive of the Bingo Association. Miles, thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
We've spoken to you already a little bit about the event, and that'll go on our LinkedIn, on our social media. But wanted to ask you a little bit more about bingo in general, bingo in the UK. Obviously, events like this are, I guess, increasingly important. But to start off with, could you give us a little bit about your intro and background and your experience in bingo to date?
Yeah, I certainly can. So I've been in the bingo industry nearly 40 years, can you believe? Started off in the mid-80s as a trainee manager in Sheffield and then worked myself around the clubs. Ended up as marketing director at Mecca Bingo, and then about 12 years ago moved across to head up the trade association, the Bingo Association. So all my professional career really I've been in the bingo industry, and it's great to see events like this one today and others trying to kind of grow and change the perception of bingo. And do you know what? Bingo is still out there, alive and kicking. It's very resilient, but it's being done now in lots of different ways, appealing to lots of different types of people.
You mentioned a long and distinguished career there. Could you have imagined a few years back something like this? Because this is a little bit different, and something that we may only be a kind of an anecdote, but when you think of bingo, you think of we played it in school, and there might be traditionally an older audience for it, but then that leaves a big gap of age groups in between. Does this help target that kind of demographic?
Look, wherever you find the game of bingo, we support it. All bingo is good bingo. There's no such thing as bad bingo. Bingo's here to entertain. It's here to entertain everybody. But yeah, it's great to see that bingo is really now trying to kind of come across a much more diverse audience, whereas, as you rightly say, in the past it probably was a little bit stereotyped to a certain demographic and a certain age group.
I must point out, when I said we played bingo in schools, obviously that was for free. That wasn't for money or actual gambling at that age. But when it comes to the kind of the UK market at the moment and bingo in general, obviously there's something that we kind of talked about before we started filming, was there's a lot of competition in general when it comes to entertainment. So even just your flight clubs and your Formula One simulators and just bars and all the kind of things in London and big cities across the country. But then also within gambling, there's also an entertainment. There's plenty of different forms of sports betting, table games, poker, that kind of thing. How's bingo doing at the moment, given that there is loads of competition, which that competition is there for everyone, but certainly for bingo halls and places like this as well?
Well, the great thing about bingo is it's unique. I mean, first of all, compared to other forms of gambling, everybody has to be in the same place at the same time to participate, and that therefore creates atmosphere, it creates community, and it's the community side of bingo clubs that is its real strong appeal. Everybody getting together in the same place at the same time and having a lot of fun. But look, the bingo industry has had a very difficult time in recent years. I mean, anybody who runs a land-based hospitality venue will tell you about the impact of COVID. Then they'll tell you about the impact of energy and the cost of living. So, we've lost probably around 60 to 70 venues in the last 4 years. But on the flip side, and the great news is, we're beginning to see new ones open. So just last night, a brand new bingo club operated by Club 3000 opened in Blackpool. So there's also some good news there as well.
A final sort of topic for you, because we've talked about the present and looked back a little as well. Looking forward, what does bingo need to do? What is it currently doing? You've mentioned new halls are opening. You've got places like this, which is a little bit different, social bingo. But of course, you've got your big operators, your kind of Mecca and Gala as well. How's the industry outlook looking for the kind of years ahead, and what is it doing, or what does it maybe need to do as well?
Well, I think what the bingo industry needs to do is find a way of incorporating all these different types and iterations of bingo into one venue, so that maybe get your traditional bingo, and then when that finishes, then creating the right space and environment for later night concepts to be played, like you're seeing here in Dabbers this afternoon. I mean, in between COVID and in between cost of living and energy crisis, actually, business was quite buoyant. It was quite promising. So I think when we get over these bumps in the road, assuming there are no more bumps in the road to come, I'm pretty confident about the future of land-based bingo. But bingo has to continue to grow, evolve, develop, because, as you say, it's an incredibly competitive landscape. But hey, we've got one great USP that perhaps other people don't have. We are heavily rooted in our community, and as long as that remains, then I think we've got a bright future.
Well, Miles, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, we're here at the next Stop Bingo Caller event, and you're a judge, so best of luck with that. I'm sure when people watch this video, they'll find out who won, and we hope for a great show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.